It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
A fine Saturday morning to you.
And to you, sir. Doff my hat to you.
A tip of the hat.
There's no hat to be
Top
tipped,
of the
Andrew.
I forgot it.
How's your fine
What's
Saturdays this morning, gents? Feeling good? See, Andy? Yeah. That's my fault.
Early.
Good. Off to a
Early.
good start.
This week's edition of Hunger Games Camp is photography. And so they go out to the woods and take pictures of others Hunger Gaming.
Of others, other people? Oh, okay. I thought it was like, okay, so when someone is executed, you go take a picture of the body to verify the kill?
Yeah. That's what it is. That's why we're doing this so early this morning. And I appreciate your patience. What is going on in the world of media right now? What have I missed?
You have missed, and both of you, I understand, have missed Battle at Big Rock, which I'm surprised. Andy is the biggest fan of, I think, the Jurassic franchise of anyone I know. He loves all things dino. And earlier this week, there was a short film that dropped on YouTube called Battle at Big Rock. It's a short film that takes place in the world of Jurassic World. Do we call it that? The Jurassic
World of
I don't know, the
Jurassic
Jurassic
World.
Cinematic Universe. It's like a year after. So dinos are everywhere in the world. So it's sort of how has humanity adapted to living with dinosaurs out there? And it takes place families out camping, sort of RV camping, and some dinos sort of pass through. It's a little 8-minute short directed by Colin Trevorrow. I don't know why. I mean, it's got the Universal logo. It's got the Jurassic World. I mean, this isn't like a fan short. This is official Jurassic media. So I don't know if this is planting the seed for something more. I don't know why this is out there. It's entertaining, but I don't know what it's leading to.
Because it's not like the Alien shorts that were just basically like fan fiction versions, but they were kind of official shorts that the studio kind of welcomed into the universe, even though they're not like officially part of the storyline.
Yeah, and that tied into the 40th anniversary of Alien. There was a lot of hype pushing something that, this isn't an anniversary of, well, is it?
It's the 26th anniversary. I'm sure that means something somewhere.
And it's been a while since Jurassic World. What was it? Was it 2 years ago that we had the last Jurassic?
Was it? I thought it was last year.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's right. The first Jurassic World was
3 years ago now.
Years three years ago, and then was it really last year?
That
was
as
it?
if you're really exhausted?
Oh, I don't remember much about that except for big dinos in cages and Tommy saying something Lockwood. That's all I remember about the latest Jurassic movie. But that's not any of the characters we've seen before, but it's about 8 minutes of dino fun. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. Sort of reinvigorated my interest in shorts. I'm getting back into my Vimeo channel, and there's a whole bunch of great shorts that are out there. So I'm sort of like rediscovering great short filmmaking. That sort of one more thing that I don't have time for in my day. But
you have time for less of it because they're shorter.
Find a place for like 5-6 minutes. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there's a better way to say that.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
The only thing I had heard about Jurassic this week was the release of the. It wasn't even this week. It was in the summer when they launched the ride. The new Universal Studios Hollywood ride, and they started talking about the rumors that that we would see, Ellie and Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm back as characters in the next movie, and they would confirm nothing. But apparently, those rumors are still alive. And I'm curious so having not yet watched the Battle at Big Rock, is that what you call it? That what your people call it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Were there any familiar characters in it?
No, it's not. It's sort of like the Alien shorts where it's another film sort of in that world. But again, we're a year down the road, supposedly. But But no, it's not like we're revisiting any characters. This is just, here's this family living
dinosaurs.
in America, and this is what happens when dinosaurs sort of stomp into their campground. Yeah.
Odd that it premiered on FX.
Oh, it did?
I'm just looking at that online.
Oh.
I wonder why. I do enjoy the Jurassic stories. I just love the big dinosaurs. I still had issues with the latest film, but I am curious about this one, so I'm definitely going to have to check it out. And
okay, yeah,
there were dinosaurs. They moved dinosaurs in the basement. That was my quibble. Dinosaurs and Dinosaur Vader, the Dino Vader.
Honestly, they moved the story in a logical progression. Like, it makes sense that it's going where it's going.
It's that the story itself was illogical, and therefore things fall apart.
It's the and some of the people were there was some general issues.
Is it that they kept
still,
Bane in that giant cage? It was a weird crossover.
Won't you today, Dr. Grant?
They put all the dinosaurs in the giant, like the giant prison. The cave prison.
That's right. That was the Guardians of the Galaxy prison. It's a very strange set of crossovers. Have you guys seen anything that's in the box office this week? Because there's a lot of stuff that's worth talking about, and I haven't seen any of it. Downton Abbey is something that's out there. I was never a fan of Downton Abbey, and I found the whole thing kind of puzzling. It just was not for me. Ad Astra is out. I have not seen that. Rambo: Last Blood. I haven't seen that. And that's right up my alley. Last thing I saw, Hustlers. Has anybody seen Hustlers?
Yeah.
All of these things are cruising at the box office right now, and I'm very curious if anybody's seen them. Nothing.
Hustlers is supposed to be pretty good.
No, I'm nothing, but I'm irritated because I wanted to go see Ad Astra this weekend, and I wanted to go see it on the really big screen, so Harkins in the big Cine Capri theater. But no, they've got Downton Abbey and Last Blood in there playing. Like Last Blood was playing like the late show, like 10 o'clock, and then it's Downton Abbey all day. And I thought, nobody wants to see. I can understand Downton Abbey, I guess, that they want to put a lot of people in one theater, but Brad Pitt in outer space, I think that needs to be on a big screen. I don't know that Downton Abbey it was a TV show, does not need to be on a huge screen. Why would you see Downton Abbey in IMAX, right?
I feel like we're treading dangerously close to really offending some big fans of Downton Abbey. Your prize,
no.
Your
I
prize
watched the
small
first season
screen
of it.
addiction does not deserve to be on the big screen, is what I just heard.
Yes, on a huge screen. I watched the first season, and then it was one of those shows that just, I think it was waiting for one season, the next one, and then getting caught up. And I enjoyed it. The characters were entertaining, but why does it need to be on my super huge screen when I want my big sci-fi?
Because the Queen is coming, Steve.
They've broken out the good China, Steve.
I know.
This is a whole show about China and silver.
Yeah.
It looks really good on the big screen. Because they used real China for the movie. It wasn't just prop China.
They did have to de-age the silver, though. It's all CG. All of the flatware is CG. It's amazing.
Okay, now all that hate is going from me to you. That's great. You've taken that all on for me. That's great.
I did see a Brad Pitt interview that was I thought was very funny about Ad Astra, and he says, if you really, really like Star Wars and Star Trek and the Guardians of the Galaxy and like space, this is not that movie. This is not the movie for you. Don't go see it.
This is Downton Abbey in space, is what I'm hearing.
So I'm hoping. Go ahead.
You know what I think is strange, and maybe you can help me understand this. So AMC, I'm looking at their page of movies that are playing now, and now they mark certain movies as artisan films, which I'm assuming are the ones that they're considering more specialty releases. I don't exactly know what that entails, because it's not like it's a studio or anything. So Downton Abbey is considered an artisan film. So is Ad Astra.
God, it really is Downton Abbey in space.
But and then we have Official Secrets and The Goldfinch. Those are all artisan films. Likewise, The Peanut Butter Falcon. Brittany Runs a Marathon. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Ready or Not. Those are what they're calling their artisan films.
Does it make you wonder if anybody at AMC knows what an artisan is?
I think that they're just picking, it's like the yes, no, yes, no. It's that's what they're doing.
They're sitting down with 10-year-olds and grandparents saying, "Does this look interesting to you?" No, it's artisan. Right. That's I don't know.
The only thing I've seen is we took our son to see Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Our daughter went and saw it with a friend and loved it. And Steve, of course, already talked about it. We had a volleyball tournament with about a 4-hour window between games. So we're like, let's go take Parker to a movie. And we had a great time. A lot of fun with that movie. They did a great job. What an incredible cast they put together. And yeah, it's one of those movies where I could totally see them kind of continuing a whole line of these family-friendly films with these kid explorers. It was a really fun time. So that's definitely worth checking out. And I think you could probably sneak in if you don't have kids, although people might look at you a little suspiciously.
I appreciate hearing that. We were dubious when it came out, when we picked the trailer, I think, early on.
It gets a little Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in one part. But on the whole, they did a great job.
That's a bad thing?
Yeah.
No, I just felt like, okay, they just basically used that story point and just rewrote it.
Is it the tapestry part?
And it's fine.
I've got to get the tapestries.
No.
I've gonna got the sniffles.
My name is Dora, and I'm here with the sniffles for the tapestries. Yeah,
that's exactly
that was a real turn. Yeah. A real turn, yeah.
Real surprise, right? Like, I didn't know she was Scottish or
right.
Whatever it is I'm doing.
And there were so many.
Whatever it is,
there were so many Nazis in Dora.
Harrison Ford.
Just crazy number of Nazis.
Hey, have either of you gone back to see the extended cut of Spider-Man: Far From Home? I keep forgetting that's a thing.
They released it in theaters, and then it just dropped digitally. And there's that. I assume that's the one that dropped digitally, right? This week.
I'm assuming I don't know why they would hold back the extended cut, but I'm curious about. Like I knew nobody who actually went and saw the extended cut, so I'm really curious about what changed in that one.
I am
Sony's bank account. So that was pretty much that's
it.
I took that because I enjoyed the movie, but it wasn't one that I felt I didn't love it of like more than the other ones, and I didn't know that it needed more to it. I wasn't craving. I need more of this story. I can't wait to see what they're adding. It was I had a really good time.
It was a one-time in theaters one for me.
I think I only did that one once. No, I did it twice in theaters. And I enjoyed it both times. I think you're both wet blankets.
No, I know I would have enjoyed it a second time had I gone.
Right.
But
I don't know. There's nothing that says anything about extended edition on the at least on the iTunes release. Just says Far From Home at 2 hours and 9 minutes. I don't know how long the extended edition was in theatrically.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Curses.
16,
now they're going to release
6
minutes. Different.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is it in the? It should be in the extras section. If
I'm looking at it. It says what you get is a classier book, an iTunes exclusive on the cast, Peter's to-do list, an all-new short film, a gag reel, deleted scenes, deep dive featurettes on everything from Mysterio to Peter's Tingle, and much, much more.
They're probably still waiting to see. It may still be out there in theaters.
It is still in theaters, so that's probably it. They're waiting until more people see this, and then they'll probably just drop it in there.
I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. I don't think we had anyone with any A24s or red bands, so...
Oh, okay. That's right. So it's first come, first serve.
You were
on
the
this
one who was like, I'm going right away.
I'd like to pick my trailer for 3 weeks from now.
Okay. Sure. My trailer? Pete, I don't know if you looked into anything about this movie. Cube! Director Vincenzo Natali.
Oh, my goodness.
Directed this one. Yes. So this is in the tall grass. It's another closed space thriller. You got people that walk into a field of tall grass and they can't get out. It's the whole setup is that there's this family. I guess they're stopped in a park. I don't know. In a parking lot near a large field, they hear boys cry for help, and they go into the grass and start discovering there's other people that have been stuck and trapped out here in this grass. It's based on a novella written by Stephen King and his son, Joe Hill. Looks like a simple story. I'm intrigued by what's going on in the grass. It's straight to Netflix, or it's a Netflix original, I guess, being released October 4th. So priming the pump for Halloween. I always enjoy Stephen King's shorter work. And this one just looks like a lot of fun. And knowing that Mr. Natali is working sort of, I think, in his wheelhouse there of let's keep people confined and I can keep you entertained and on the edge of your seat. I'm really looking forward to this one.
My wife and I have, we carpool together and we've been listening to audiobooks and have been doing Stephen King books. And then I just decided, you know what we should do? Let's listen to all the audiobooks of all Stephen King's books and we'll watch all the movies too. So we started.
That doesn't. Why does that not surprise me?
One more.
Is there a
list
way to
for
be
me.
a completionist? Yes.
Yeah. So we started with the dubious starting place of Cell because it was available in my audiobook selection. So we listened to it, which was an entertaining enough book.
Yeah.
The movie was terrible. We just watched that last night. But I really do enjoy Stephen King, and I think it's tricky to adapt his work. I think, it's there are probably going to be more difficult films to sit through than really great ones. But I'm always curious about them. And I do enjoy the way he writes. And I haven't heard of this story. But it's funny because as soon as I started watching the trailer, I'm like, this feels very Stephen King. And I know Netflix has kind of this thing going on with some of the Stephen King short story adaptations or just story adaptations in general. And so I said that, and then it said, based on the short story by Stephen King. I'm like, oh, of course, I was totally right on the money there. So this feels like it's going to be something that's right in my wheelhouse. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I do too. I mean, I actually found myself really. I think it's really compelling. I love that they're working together. It reminds me of my favorite name joke, which is that Joe Hill isn't going by his father's last name, and apparently he was still joking when he went to college with a friend of mine at Vassar. And I find that fantastic. Well played, Stephen King. I should have named my children like Wheelwright, Wheel and Wayne. Oh, man. That is a massive missed opportunity. I think that I found this, it looked spooky. It had a similar vibe to The Ruins, which is a deep, guilty pleasure of mine. I know nobody else likes that movie.
It's a fun. I enjoyed that.
It was
movie.
great.
A lot of fun.
And I read the book and I thought it was all very, very spooky. Talking plants. Oh, yeah, I like that. I'm all in. So this definitely fit. It also happens to be a field that looks like a field that's right by my house, like where it tilts up and there's that old church. I have that church and it's like 2 minutes down the road. And now I can't go there anymore, which is really sad because there's a good Pokestop, like gym there. And now I can't go there anymore. I think it looks great. And of course, Steve, a great callback to the Cube or to Cube because it's huge win.
Oh yeah. Andy, I'm sorry. I'm just waiting for one weekend. You're going to be like, I went grocery shopping with my wife, and I was looking at the aisles, and I thought, gosh, we're going to go through this store just aisle by aisle and just work our way through
every product.
Try every single thing on the shelves.
And then we're going to launch a website so I can write a review. This pasta
each
is
one
3.5 with quibbles.
I'm going to rank every item that this store has.
Food charting with Andy Nelson.
Oh, somebody please put me out of my misery if I get to that point.
He's got quibbles with the mac and cheese. We're gonna hear
but it's still 5 stars.
Too long. We've been doing this too long. All right, Andy.
For my trailer, I picked one it's a trailer that's actually a few weeks old. And for some reason, we've just kind of missed it. And I had seen that it was out there. I just hadn't watched it. And I don't know why, because I've always been fascinated by Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. It's just one of those stories that you start learning about in elementary school. And you read those like little, 25-page, biographies that you get as a fourth grader or whatever, to learn about these people. And I just found the whole idea of this way to kind of help slaves escape slavery to be really interesting, and Harriet Tubman kind of leading the charge with this thing. I always found it fascinating. I don't know why it's taken so long to get a film made, and who knows, maybe there is one that's been made a while ago, but in recent days it seems like the perfect sort of story to make. You've got this powerful woman figure who was a slave and is free, and now she's going back in to free more slaves. I think it's a fascinating story, and it's a perfect story for our time. The fact that you have Casey Lemons directing this, I am right in there. Casey Lemons directed one film that I think is one of the greatest of the 90s, Eve's Bayou. I just think that's just a beautiful, powerful film that I've always loved. And I mean, The Caveman's Valentine was a really interesting one. I haven't seen the two films she did between that and Harriet, but I find her to be a really interesting storyteller, very compelling with her filmmaking style. And seeing this story, Cynthia Erivo is playing Harriet, Leslie Odom Jr. is in there, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with this story and how they're going to tell it. So, Harriet, that's my film. What do you guys think of the trailer?
Are you Aaron Burr, sir? Oh, forget it. I am so into this movie. How you're so right. How did it take so long to get this movie, this story made on the big screen? I was looking for title matches, and there is a 2013 short called The Harriet Tubman Sex Tape. I don't think it's related.
No.
And of course, there are all of the hit early adaptations of the story. Harriet the Spy, Blog Wars. I'm sure those are connected somehow too. No, I'm super into this story. It looks absolutely fantastic. And I love that they even show in the trailer the classic photo session with I mean, it's just her sitting in the chair, the picture we all know so well. I think it looks really terrific, just terrific. I cannot believe what incredible, with Cynthia Erivo Erivo. Yeah, I'm going to get that wrong. Anyway, she just looks so good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% bought into her character from the trailer alone. So I can't wait to see this.
It's Andy, you're on a roll with trailers of like, how has this biopic not been made before about this woman? Right. After last week's Madame Curie film. So yeah, this looks like. I always struggle with biopics because how much do we have to fictionalize to make this entertaining and dramatic to keep us interested in the story? But I think there's definitely enough material here for a compelling story. And I'm surprised we haven't seen this before, and I'm very excited about this one. When's this one hitting theaters?
Well, it just premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival I think 11 days ago, September 10th, up at TIFF. It's going to have its theatrical release here in the U.S. November 1st. And so I don't know. Well, it does have, let's see, in the UK, November 22nd. And then the rest of the places around the world are all starting in January and February next year. So it'll take its time to get out there. But I think once it starts spreading out there, it'll find more homes. All right, Pete.
I love I just love this sort of new batch of action movies where these incredible, strong women characters go crazy, and was a huge fan of Atomic Blonde and What Happened to Monday, and just these great movies with these strong action protagonists, these strong women action protagonists, and I have one that is coming, and I don't know what to make of it. I feel like I need to set my expectations very, very low because it's the problem is it's one of those movies that is like, it's got the perfect cast, it's got an incredible cast, and it's got a great story. It's based on a novel that is apparently pretty good, and that's just all of the right ingredients for like making a movie that like only Pete likes. Again, So probably a trailer that nobody really likes. I'm talking about the rhythm section. It is a British-American action thriller directed by Reed Morano and written by Mark Burnell based on his own novel. It stars Blake Lively and Jude Law at the top of the cast, but we've also got Sterling K. Brown and Max Casella and Daniel Mays and Jeff Bell and Richard Drake and Jeffrey Raza and Tawfiq Barham. And it is the story of a woman whose family is killed, and so she takes on the identity of an assassin in order to make her way into the underworld to seek vengeance on those who blew up her family on a plane. And I got to tell you, I think that Blake Lively looks great in this movie. I am also intrigued that this is produced by Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson. This is a Lady James Bond, maybe. I don't know what to make of that, because I hear that they're actually doing that with James Bond. So, but I like the idea that they're branching out some more with something that's going to have a little bit of a bigger release. I'm excited about the cast and the people, and the trailer I found really. I thought it was excellent. I thought it had me. It had me. All right,
it had you at hello.
It had me at yes. All right, go ahead.
I didn't watch this the first time it was called Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. I don't know that I'm going to watch it again this time.
Now, come on. Those were absolutely different caliber, tone, texture of trailers. Peppermint and the rhythm section. Come on.
So sorry. So I didn't get so much a Bond feel as like a Jason Bourne type of thing, because I was intrigued when it said based on a novel. And so there's a whole series. So there's a potential, for this, for sequels. There's, I guess, four books in the series. But what I read on Goodreads about the first book, the rhythm section, is that it seems like she's recruited by the CIA, where the trailer makes it seem like she tracked somebody down to help her. And I don't know many housewives who just turn into a badass like Blake Lively looks in this movie. And so my biggest stumbling block is, if you're going to take an ordinary person, you can't turn them into Jason Bourne. With Die Hard, we had Bruce Willis. He was a cop, so we had a foundation. And what I'm missing here is, what is the foundation that her skills are built on? Because that's my biggest hurdle for the story to get over. It looks like it's going to be interesting and fun, and it has a great cast. As I was doing my research, though, I did stumble across some release information that said it was scheduled to be released February 2019, was moved to November 2019, and then pushed back into January.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't. Yeah, its current release date is January 31st, 2020.
Yeah. So, but it looks like it has all the pieces, but I just don't know how well that was executed.
See what I mean? I am right to set my expectations low. This is why I bring this face to this property.
Yes.
Yeah, you brought up Peppermint. My immediate comparison was American Assassin, the quickly forgotten film that had Taylor Kitsch in basically the same situation, who then he pairs up with Michael Keaton instead of Jude Law to kind of have his training, and so that he can get back at the jihadists who killed his wife and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, no, curses, you guys. Curse you both.
It doesn't mean I'm not interested in it. I think the fact that Reed Morano is directing it makes me more curious about it. She's started as a cinematographer on films like Frozen River, and then moved into directing stuff like some of the episodes of The Handmaid's Tale. So I think there's some interesting potential that she has bringing this story to light. I don't know if I can say I'm hopeful based on the trailer, but I'm intrigued. I will give you that, Pete.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll take intrigued. I'll take quibbles. I really like Blake Lively. I think she's just fantastic, and so I'm hopeful that this is that this sets her up more as a Charlize Theron and less as a Peppermint.
Here's hoping.
I don't know, man. Let's do lists.
Okay, so this week on the show, we are talking about Robin Hood Men in Tights. We're men in tights. And so for that, we put up on the poll, we had the options parodies, non-musicals with a musical number, or breaking the fourth wall. And the listeners definitely went for breaking the fourth wall. So that is what we are talking about on our lists today, breaking the fourth wall. And before we begin, I thought I would give a little history on breking the fourth wall, because I thought it's pretty interesting.
I need a school time with Andy song.
Cinematic breaking the fourth wall. I feel pretty positive that none of these will actually be steals from anyone's list. The earliest recorded breaking of the fourth wall in, as Wikipedia says, in serious cinema was in Mary McLean's revolutionary 1918 silent film, Men Who Have Made Love to Me.
Steal.
In which the enigmatic authoress, who portrays herself, interrupts the vignettes on screen to address the audience directly. Also in 1918, A Dog's Life, written, directed, and starring Charlie Chaplin. After finding a wallet with money in it, the tramp, his most famous character, looks right at the audience with his signature eyebrow raised. And then, of course, it became a regular staple of Hardy, of the Laurel and Hardy films. Groucho Marx would do it in, a lot of the Marx Brothers films, and it's just kind of gone on from there. It's all over the place, breaking of the fourth wall. So with that, I guess, Steve, you're kicking it off.
That's right.
All right. I sort of alluded in Discord to the fact that this was going to be my steal-free list. We will see. Because I did my regular search and came up with a lot of the same ones that, are out there, that are high on everybody's radar. So I wanted to dig really deep into some films that people probably haven't seen, or maybe haven't seen in a really long time. And I'm going to start with just one of my favorites. It's one that occasionally will show up on Hulu and Netflix if you keep an eye out for it. This is 24-Hour Party People, which is the story of Tony Wilson, who was a journalist and got into the whole music scene in England in the early 80s. And there's a scene where he's in a nightclub, and his wife has just caught him with another woman in a van. And so he's going to try to find her. And she is in the men's restroom with Howard Devoto, and he catches her there. And as Tony's walking out, we pass a man who's in the restroom, and he looks at the camera and says, "I honestly don't remember this happening." Frame freezes, and we hear Tony, played by Steve Coogan, say, "This is the actual real Howard Devoto." So for me, this is not only breaking the fourth wall by having a character address the audience, but actually now we're casting an actual person of the true story within the movie. Because there is a lot of just typical fourth wall with Tony addressing the audience through the camera, but this one broke it in a completely different way by having a story that's based in reality have one of the actual people commenting on what's going on in the movie. That's my first breaking the fourth wall.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
What?
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard of it.
Michael Winterbottom. Oh, great music. If you're a fan of, alternative music from the early 80s, I mean, gosh.
Totally missed it. I feel like that should be higher on my list.
I've heard about
Lenny
that one.
James.
For some reason, it's never interested me. I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get around to it.
All right.
Wow, what an incredible cast.
There you go.
Okay, for my first one, I am jumping back to 1969 with a James Bond movie.
Steal.
It's one a lot of people poo-poo, if I may say. But I think it's actually a pretty enjoyable movie, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The one entry with George Lazenby. I think it's actually a nice giant James Bond film. I have a good time with this one. And I love the beginning. You get the first fight, and then he's having a hard time in the fight, and he gets up and he looks at the camera and says, "This never happened to the other fellow," before he kind of continues. It's the only time that happens in the movie and in the entire run of James Bond films. It was an interesting way to kind of introduce the fact that they had cast a new person to play the character of James Bond. And it's kind of cheeky. It's a little silly, I suppose, in the scope of all the James Bond movies. But I think it allowed the franchise to set up the idea that periodically there are going to be actor changes. So I enjoy it. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. There you go.
Well, that was a steal. That's frustrating because my list is not very long. So I hope I don't get stolen again. That would be unfortunate. So
then what are you kicking it off with?
I'm kicking it off with, it's a movie that I really liked, and I think it should have been talked about more. It is Jean-Claude Van Damme in JCVD, which I really enjoyed. And the breaking the fourth wall bit, there is a sequence where he stops in the middle of a scene and he lifts up into the rafters. You see the Klieg lights and everything in the set. Like, it's totally goes away from the set. There's like this 9-minute rant about how he's achieved nothing, and he starts crying. It's like him. It's him talking to us about his career and how terrible he feels about the fact that he has all this and he's like a non-contributing zero in the world. He's just a guy who spent 20 years doing, practicing karate. And what business does he have having all of these things, He says it's so stupid to kill people. They're so beautiful. And I just, there's something about there's just a lot of purity in this. And I think weirdly, this 9 minutes is some of his best, most authentic work on film in terms of his career. He had a lot of fun in his movies, but I feel like this showcased a different kind of authenticity in the guy, and I really liked it. So, JCVD.
I have not seen that one.
Oh,
it's been a while. It's a lot of fun. Yes. If you were a fan of his work in the late 80s and the 90s, yeah, you'll have a good time with that one. All right, another deep cut. This is a film that I watched because I was intrigued by the challenge of the entire premise of this movie it's 2010. But early on in this movie, about a killer tire, a car pulls up. The police officer exits the trunk of the car and addresses the audience, talking about why things happen in movies. And he has this whole philosophy of no reason that links all of the great masterpieces of cinema together, that things happen in these movies for no reason. And that's what we should expect with this. He then gets back in the car. They drive off. Then we pan to the right, and there's a group of people there with binoculars staring off into the distance as if they are going to be watching the movie, because one of them asks, is this going to be in black and white or color? It's a truly odd movie. Not for everybody, but this was, again, another unique way, not only in addressing the audience, but having characters within the film know that they are watching the film that we are about to see, I guess. I don't know, but that's 2010's Rubber.
Another one I've never seen.
Another one I've never seen.
Did you ever see the trailer for it?
I never saw the trailer, but I'd heard of it.
Okay.
It sounded like an odd movie, and so it was one of those that was on my radar to watch, and I think I had it on my Netflix queue for a while. I just never ended up watching it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the most entertaining thing. I mean, it's the oddest thing you will probably see.
It did come up in my search, and I thought, oh. Then you wrote, I sort of predicted you would have it, because then you wrote that you have a steel-proof list. I was like, oh, well, that's on it.
For my next one,
Andy.
It's entirely possible that this is a steal, because it's a great film, and I guarantee you both have seen it. This is
steal.
Wait, is it Disney? Is it a Disney film?
Does it take place in a courtroom?
This is the brilliant story that Adam McKay put together in 2015 called The Big Short, in which we learn all about the economy crumbling with the housing crisis and why. And just a brilliant film. The way it's all put together, I just found incredibly fascinating. And I don't think he quite did as well when he did Vice, but I just loved what he did here, particularly when he brought out celebrities to explain to us how things actually worked. For example, he has Anthony Bourdain talk about CDOs and comparing them to seafood stew. And he's directly looking into the camera explaining this for us. Or even better, we have Margot Robbie in the bathtub. Because why not? It's Margot Robbie in a bathtub, in a bubble bath. So it's just a beautiful use of not just kind of getting these things explained, but doing it in a fun way, and also kind of poking fun at audiences for, this is what you need to actually hear somebody talking about this. And for me, it worked brilliantly. So that's my second choice, The Big Short.
Oh, I'm so relieved that's not a steal.
I totally thought that would be,
No,
but I'm glad it wasn't.
Man.
Almost.
But it's so it is perfect. It's great.
It is.
All right, my next one is I'm actually surprised I made it to round 2 that this hasn't been picked. Also, it's just one of those things where you're used to breaking the fourth wall as a comedic device, and then you see it on screen as a dramatic device, and it just it blew me away. And that is the final monologue, the final speech of the good Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta in Goodfellas. He's on the stand, and he's in court, and he's just named his co-conspirators in the courtroom, and then he stands up and looks at the camera and starts walking toward you. And it is, I actually found it adds a lot of sort of heart and drama to the craziness of the entire story, and leads us straight to that final shot where he is, walks out of his witness protection house and gets the paper, and his hair's all crazy, and his voiceover kind of continues. And I just, everything was for the taking, and now it's all over as the movie ends. And I just think that it was just brilliant, an incredible use, an innovative use of breaking the fourth wall in a drama that I think worked really, really well. Goodfellas.
Great movie. That was one of my backups.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was absolutely one that I was hoping would get on the list, because it's a perfect example of using fourth wall like that. So.
Yeah, it's one that I haven't seen that in such a long time. I actually had forgotten about that part of the film until it showed up in one of the lists. And I thought, gosh, I don't remember. I remember bits and pieces of this film. I needed to put that back for a good revisit, because I'd forgotten about that ending. Yeah. All right. So
your last one
is also occurs at the end of a film. And this is a film that I want more and more people to see, and so I will always use an excuse to bring this one up. Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer at the end of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, after they have solved the crime and everything, Robert Downey Jr. is sitting there telling us sort of the recap of everything, and Val Kilmer strolls in and says, hey, for everybody out there in the Midwest, sorry we said the F word so much, and they're commenting on the movie itself, but again, a direct address to the camera. Shane Black, I really just have a great time with this film. So that's why I'm going to close off my list.
And where would we be if we didn't have you picking something that we've discussed on the show before?
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Not a steal for me, Andy. This is my last chance. No. Do I make it through?
I feel like you will. I think you'll be okay.
Okay.
Although I know you've seen this movie too. I love this movie. This is my final pick. And
Tangled.
It's the top of my list. Tangled. No, this is the French film Amélie. I love this character. I love her story. Just the way the story is told is just one of the most magical things ever. In this particular moment, she's in a movie theater, and for the bulk of the film, we have a narrator kind of talking us through it. But in this particular moment, as she's watching the movie and the narrator kind of talks about why she goes to these movies, she then looks at us and breaks the fourth wall and talks about, why she likes particular movies and what she likes to notice about people in them and everything. So it's a really cute thing, and it fits perfectly with the way the story is being told. So that's my final pick, Amélie.
Not a steal, but great pick.
Well, then I'm excited to see where you're going to go then.
I
have to give a caveat here. This is the perfect opportunity, Pete, for you to finally absolve yourself of a list crime you've been committing for a long time. So that's all I'm going to say.
What?
Let's see if you absolve your crime.
No, I have to at least know what it is.
I know.
I
can't say until you've said.
Well, now I'm very confused. I feel like, I'm very confused, and my anxiety is peaking, and this is not a good recipe. I will tell you then that my final pick comes from 2007. It stars Naomi Watts and Tim Roth and Michael Pitt. What is you're shaking your head?
All I'm going to say, Pete, is you had what should I say? Not quite an order, but it was something that you had committed to put Woody Allen on your list every time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I know. And that was something who
perfect
committed to that.
opportunity right here.
Who committed it? I know. And you know what? I thought about that last night. I thought about that last night as I'm making my list, and I thought, who's the one who committed to that? You guys committed to that for me on my behalf. I didn't commit to that. I didn't commit to that. All right. Anyway.
All right. Go ahead.
Two psychopathic young men take a family hostage in their cabin in Michael Haneke's Funny Games, 2007. And this is, it's if you're not into the home invasion kind of thing and kidnapping and brutality, this is not your film. But we do have some breaking the fourth wall, and it's used to incredible effect in this movie. I really like it. The way they use it. First of all, Michael Pitt turns to the camera and, after talking about how this is going to be I'll bet you're going to be dead. And then he'll turn to the camera and say, you're on their side, aren't you? I just think it's used really well. And at one point, they actually look at the camera, and after, Naomi Watts has their way with one of them, they look at the camera and said, and essentially take a do-over, and they rewind the film and do it again. And I think that's a really clever way to use the fourth wall and the artifice of film to actually move the story in new directions. So really clever use of the technique in 2007 Funny Games.
I will agree there, although I've only seen the original Funny Games. I never saw the this American
the
remake.
97. Yeah.
But certainly it is pretty much the same in that one. Pretty it's a difficult film to watch, definitely not for everybody.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. I think it's if you see one, you don't want to see the other because you don't want to put yourself through that again. Because I saw the 97 one also and thought, well, he originally wanted to make it in America and couldn't get the financing or funding. So he did that. When he did, I thought, well, that's great. You did what you wanted to do. Now you're doing it for American audiences. You're going to do the exact same thing. Yeah. I don't need to put myself through that experience.
I haven't seen the original one. So.
Well, you already have.
It's
just you've seen it without subtitles. Yeah. That's what you've done. Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's not. It's not my kind of movie for sure. But it is one of the first things that came up in my mind when we talked about this. And I think it's really interesting. It's one of the funny things when we talked about this list, and when Andy posted in the community last night that it's breaking the fourth wall. It is, and the first response is one of my favorite comedic tropes. And I'm looking at this and saying, where are the comedies? The straight comedies that use this on our list. I mean, you can get away with Amelie maybe, and Funny Games, not a comedy.
No.
Goodfellas, I have no comedies.
No.
Well, if you put Annie Hall on your list, then you would have been in the right. But I would say just as some backups, just to call out some other ones. Wayne's World, there's a comedy right there. Deadpool, which I'm surprised you didn't have, considering your whole thing with Ryan Reynolds and his wife today, Pete. Spaceballs, Ferris Bueller, High Fidelity, and then non-comedy Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I'm with you. I feel like, Steve, your point is exactly that. In the back of my mind, I was like, well, comedy, it's too easy. Where have we seen this technique used in ways where it likely wouldn't fit, and yet they somehow make it fit? And that was the interesting challenge, I think, for me to find. I think The Big Short is probably the best example, of using, not just using it as a an interesting way to kind of divert audience attention for a little bit, but to really educate. I think it's an amazing example. This is a great list. I now have to go see Rubber and 24-Hour Party People for sure.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah, I think you'll like 24-Hour Party People. Rubber is not.
It doesn't live up to the hype of its odd logline.
It's an odd film.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's all I can say about it. Yeah. But 24-Hour Party People, I love dearly, and that's it's a great cast, and the subject matter is very close and dear to my heart. I mean, you've got the whole Joy Division, New Order, that Manchester music scene that grew up with that stuff. So.
Man, I don't know how I missed it. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so next week we are closing our Robin Hood series with Ridley Scott's 2010 Robin Hood. What, pray tell, do we want to put on our list? I feel like epics is too broad. Origin stories we could certainly throw in there.
Have we not done origin stories?
I'm sure we've put it on a list before. I just don't know if people picked it. I can't remember anymore.
We need a database.
Yeah. Somebody needs to start up a wiki for us.
A wiki. Yeah. Goodness. We're a mess.
It may have been an option, but I don't know that we've done that. But it's been 2 years of SatMat, so I don't.
Well, we could do it like epic fables, right? Like in terms of taking a fable and making it an epic film.
Good God, are there that many?
Well, I don't know, Andy. I'm just spitballing here, man.
Can I think of a single thing?
Did Woody Allen do an epic fable? I don't know.
Should we put epic fables on the list? And
I triple dog dare you. Yes, triple dog.
All right, and I think we can do origin stories because I don't know that we've done that recently.
What about battles on the beach?
Beach battles
on the beach. Beach battles. Okay.
Anything?
Andy, are you in the IMDb keywords? Is that where you are?
No, I'm just thinking of the movie.
It does. Exactly. Battles involving
I'm actually
sand.
going to IMDb to add it if it's not there.
That's right. Make sure it's there.
That absolutely has to be there. Beach battles.
We should do, this is nonsense. We're not doing this, but movies with the shell game.
Shell game movies. God. We could do Magna Carta movies.
Movies with how about this is I don't know what we'd call this, but he pretends to be somebody that he's not. He takes
not
over
taken
over somebody else's
stolen identity.
Yeah, stolen identities.
Yeah.
So
I like it. Stolen identity movies.
Okay, stolen identity. Beach battles. Yeah.
Oh, the IMDb keywords are really rich here.
That's
refusing to pay taxes. How about throwing water on someone?
Ooh.
Reference to prodigal
old
son.
trope.
Blind person reads face. Hey.
There's a list for you.
That could be the one for you.
Blind
right
person
there.
reading
your face.
Wow.
Stabbed with a dagger, burning a document.
How about secret documents hidden under like a stone in the floor?
Well,
is that on IMDb?
Cleverly hidden documents. Does it have to be stone in the floor?
It doesn't have to be. I like cleverly hidden documents.
Okay, cleverly hidden documents. We got to go with that.
Okay.
This is the most nonsensical set of options we have here. But
well,
it's
9
fun.
movies.
It's fun.
100 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we getting rid of? Because now we have 5. Epic fables, origin stories, battles on the beach, stolen identities, cleverly hidden documents. I say we go with the last 3.
Yes. Yep.
I like the list. Good choices. Not even sure what we picked.
All right. Well, that list is going up in our Show Talk channel over on Discord. So get in there and vote, everybody, for those of you who can. And let us know what you want to hear on next week's list.
Do you want to talk about next week?
Oh, I already did. Ridley Scott's 2010 Robin Hood.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But it's the week after. That's what I was saying, because we're done after this one.
I know. Oh, well.
Then we move on to a new thing.
People can get started on,
series.
I mean, we would talk about that next week, but I guess we can talk about it now. We'll be doing
Well, I just want to say,
Cronenberg.
because I just finished it last night, for those who are Patreon supporters at the appropriate level, if you are interested, you can access your very personal, individual RSS feed for this very podcast, and you will see the first show of our new series, because we're going Cronenberg with the Shivers. And it's just Shivers, not the Shivers, but I call it the Shivers, like my grandma would. And
otherwise known as Orgy of the Blood Parasites.
And that show just went live for a preview release in Patreon. So there you go. This little just dangling it out there. Early release, ad free.
Hey, are you guys gonna do a little re-rank?
Oh,
We didn't
today?
do a re-rank.
should we do it real quick?
We're going to do a last-minute
Time
re-rank.
for
Let's do 3.
Gotta
I got to get to Hunger Games.
All right, charts. Let me get in here.
Because we didn't get to do it
I
last
know,
week.
we didn't.
So,
My fault.
Yeah.
Oops. That's not it. First up, we have Prometheus or Star Trek Insurrection.
Wait, Insurrection.
Wow.
That's the one with. Is that the face stretching one?
Yes. I
Okay.
love those guys.
Okay.
Pete laughs at me every time I say that, but
That's-
I really do. I love those
and
guys.
Picard stopping time or slowing time, all of that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Because of love and
Right.
agelessness. And Data walks out into the water and finds a spaceship.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, the more we talk about it, really hits that sweet spot.
Well, come on, Prometheus.
Man.
Just turn 90
Yeah,
degrees.
it's-
Just turn
it's
90
Prometheus.
degrees.
They both.
Yeah.
Star Trek Insurrection, I feel like it knows what it is. Prometheus, I
It's-
feel like
yeah.
goes off the rails.
What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? It's staring you right in the face.
I don't know.
It's a big alien face.
Right. And
I'm gonna-
you're an alien biologist. And of course, you're
Yeah,
going to
I'm
be like, I'm going to pick this up. Yeah.
I know. That's straight out of Mom and Dad Save the World. I'm going to say Prometheus, though.
Okay. All right, Pete.
I'm disappointed
No,
in
it's
myself.
Prometheus, and neither of us win here. There is
I
no
know.
winner
I'm
in this
disappointed in myself.
conversation.
Okay. I'm surprised,
At
Pete. I
this
thought you
point,
were a
I-
Star Trek fan.
Stop. You shut your mouth. I am a Star Trek fan. I just know when to draw the line.
All
the
right.
line must be drawn here, Steve, and no further.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Well, Prometheus did move up. It went up from
course.
352 to 343.
Okay.
All right.
So a tiny
Okay.
hop. But hey,
All right. Okay.
even
There
that.
are no winners. Yeah.
Next up, we have an easy one. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan or Trading Places. Absolutely Wrath of Khan for me.
Yep. Wrath of Khan.
Stayed put at number 50. The Roaring Twenties or Carrie. I'm going to say Carrie.
Okay.
I haven't
That's-
seen Roaring Twenties, so yeah.
I think I'm pro Stephen King with the trailer tonight, and I'm now like 22 hours into it, the audiobook of it, and I'm really enjoying it, and
Okay.
I'm really kind of loathing myself because I know we're going to get to the end, and I'm going to say that's dumb, right?
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Well, Carrie held steady at 223. Next up, we have a very difficult and challenging film to watch, Postmortem, or a much breezier film, The Philadelphia Story. Absolutely Philadelphia Story for me.
Yeah, Philadelphia Story.
That held steady at 88. Next up, we have Seconds, a fantastic Frankenheimer movie, or The World's End, Edgar Wright.
The World's End.
Ugh, I really love Seconds, but I am going to say The World's End.
Yeah.
World's End held steady at 75. Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro, or Contagion. An
Contagion
interesting
for me.
Soderbergh. I will say Contagion as well. Held steady at 119.
Not
The
a lot of
Godfather.
moves this morning.
The Godfather Part 3 or Funny Girl.
Now that's not the same as Funny Games. Funny Games is a sequel, and then Funny People was after that. It's a whole
24-hour Funny
it's the-
People.
The funny cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Godfather Part 3.
Every time you try to get out, Andy,
They pull you
they
back
pull
in.
you back in.
There's so much going for that movie.
Yeah.
I think I am. Oh man, I think I gotta go Funny Girl.
Funny Girl's pretty brilliant. I'm going to say Godfather Part 3. I think Funny Girl for me
Yeah,
slipped once she and Omar Sharif got married.
yeah. No, that's exactly when it
Yeah.
happened. That's
Yeah.
when the stars start falling off.
Yeah, so I'm saying Godfather
Blink,
Part 3.
blink.
But did
All
you
right,
say Funny
Steve,
Girl?
Steve, I said Funny Girl, but I will be absolutely okay
Going
with whatever
Godfather.
Steve says.
Oh, well, it's been a long time since I've seen either, but I'm more of a Coppola fan. And there are flaws, but I did.
It's
Yeah.
a great movie still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right,
Godfather 3.
All right.
good.
Look at that. We finally got a sway.
Yeah.
Godfather Part 3 went up 304 to 292. Another small
Okay.
jump.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Next up,
Little
Lady
fine-tuning.
Killers or Metropolis. Ooh.
Lady
boy.
Killers for me.
Yeah, I'll say Lady Killers as well. Lady Killers held steady at 271. The Town or Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home? Definitely The Town for me.
Yeah, The Town. See, now that hurts my feelings, but it is The Town.
Yeah. The Town held steady at 171. I think this is our last one. Beverly Hills Cop or Being There?
Oh, dear.
Absolutely Being There for me.
Being there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Wow,
right.
what a weird matchup.
Yeah.
That held steady at 151. So I think we had
All
a few
Just
shifts,
a
but
little.
all
Couple of
very
shifts.
minor.
Oh.
All very minor.
But this was, those were all movies that were already in a good place.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what that
Yeah.
says. They were where they need to be. All right. Now
Okay.
we're really done.
Now
right?
we're really
Yeah.
done. Done.
Okay. I gotta go to camp.
You
Have
go
a good
to
day,
you
everybody.
go do camp. I'm going to start thinking about movies with cleverly hidden documents in them.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's gonna go. You know it is.
All right.
And thank you everybody for supporting the show over on Patreon, patreon.com/thenextreel or thenextreel.com/Patreon. You can go either way. That's amazing.
Yes.
And we sure appreciate everyone who supports us. And it's, you know what, you get early access to the show. You join us on the fantastic Discord community that we've got, just fantastic conversations about movies and all kinds of movies. And we just appreciate you doing this. You can get the Saturday Matinee show actually on Saturday if you join us over there, and we'd appreciate you doing that. If you're subscribing to the show in the main feed and through Apple Podcasts, it'll come out on Monday. And who wants Saturday Matinee on Monday? You're working. You're already at work. You're not doing dishes where you should be listening to the show. So thank you for those who have made smart financial decisions and also decided they have a little left over to throw it our way so that we can continue to do what we do and grow the show and make decisions like that ourselves. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
See ya.
Hondo.